Jamie Mayville versus William Phillips.
For the record, this matter is before the court for purposes of reviewing all post-judgment issues. This hearing is being conducted via Zoom. Is Jamie Mayville present on audio?
Yes, I am.
All right, good morning, and William Phillips is also present. Good morning, Mr. Phillips.
Good morning.
You have conferred with the front of the court this morning. Ms. Brower. The recommendation is that the defendant, Mr. Phillips, shall pay $500 per week beginning March 15, 2024, to the plaintiff, Ms. Mayville, until the $3,500 plus interest is paid in full. Those payments will be sent by mail in the form of a money order. And the defendant's obligation to pay $3,500 includes interest at the rate of 5% retroactive to September 15, 2023. That is a recommendation. Ms. Mayville, is this recommendation agreeable with you this morning?
Yes, it was. But you know what? I would really like to get this matter resolved. You know?
So this court, you guys come back every month. This court like get it off its
Yes,
docket.
I know. He tells me one thing and then he tells you not, you know, it's like it's not getting resolved. This is dragging. You know?
Well, obviously there's interest accruing this obligation. That should give Mr. Phillips some incentive to pay it off sooner because he's going to pay less in the long run rather than stretching this out.
Well, it's good. Yeah, we'll be in every month then, you know?
Right. Well, this is not set a review date. Mr. Phillips, do you understand the recommendation?
Yes, sir, I do. And Your Honor, I'm going to try.
Hold on. Do you have any? Do you have any objection to the court adopting this recommendation?
No, I don't have any objections at all.
Okay. Obviously, the sooner you pay this off, the less you'll pay in the long run because of the interest.
Your Honor, I'm going to try and pay more than the $500 a week, but the $500 a week I know that I can do.
Okay, that's minimum. So, what's the story of the camper? You were pretty sure to sell the camper. What's going on with that?
You know what? I've been doing physicals. It took me 3 weeks to get by my physicals so I can get back to work.
I'm not asking about the physical. I'm asking about the camper.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying that I have not made any money or had any money to put in the camper. So, I mean, it's not, you know, I'm working now. I could put money in the camper and try to sell it. Absolutely. But I mean, I don't even get my first check until next week. I just started back to work today.
So, what are you doing? Are you an over the road driver?
No, I drive gravel train. I'm home every night.
Okay. Is it 40 hours a week?
It's 60 to 70 hours a week, depending on the weather.
So you should be able to pay minimum $500. The court still wants you to make efforts to get that camper sold.
You know what? You know, like we said, it took money to get it fixed. The money, I didn't have the money.
Okay, but you'll now have the money, correct?
Not yet. I won't get a check until next week.
We get paid every week?
Yes.
Okay.
And it's only going to be a 2 or 3 day check. I just started today.
Okay.
So, I mean, starting next week, it's going to be 5-6 days a week. I'll get this paid off quick. I want it off me too. It's quick. Honestly, before they, I'll try and sell the camper. I'll probably get her paid off quicker than I'll sell the camper. That's the way I'm looking at it. I mean, cash, cash talks.
Absolutely. But you're living in the camper right now. You need to find another place to live, then correct? If you sell it?
No. I'm living in a camper that I took the parts out of the other camper to live in this one because this one was a year-round unit. The other camper is not. So, I had to take the parts because it needed parts because it was hit by lightning.
I didn't realize I forgot there were 2 campers. So which camper were you required to sell? The one you took parts out of?
Yeah.
A 2004 camper, correct?
It's 2004, yeah.
Correct.
So you're not living in that right now.
No, but it's got parts missing.
And what's the top offer you've gotten for that?
The top offer I got for it was $500 the way it sets.
Okay, how much do you need to put into it?
I need to put 500 into it to get it to be able to sell it. That would be getting the parts.
And you think you can sell them for $4,000?
Yeah. Yeah, the dealer told me it was worth, I think he showed me a book of 4,200 is what it was worth.
All right. Of course, we're going to set this for another review date. Ms. Brown, can you insert in this recommendation a review date? I want to keep the pressure on Mr. Phillips to get this camper sold. So, Mr. Phillips, you're going to have money between now and March 15th. You need to repair this camper and get it sold, liquidated.
Okay.
We're not going to drag this out for 6 or 9 months.
I was really hoping to have her paid off within a month. That's what I was aiming for.
We're going to schedule this for review sometime during the last 2 weeks of April. So we'll keep this on our docket to Mr. Mayville to keep Mr. Phillips on a short leash to not only make sure he's paying the $500. And Mr. Phillips, if you don't comply with his order, the court's going to hold you in contempt. And
I'm sorry.
if you go to contempt, if you go to jail, you're going to lose that job. So you need to pay $500 to Ms. Mayville on March 15th and April 15th.
March 15th.
Minimum, and you need to get that camper repaired and sold. So we put this for review on April 23rd, 10:30.
April 23rd, 10:30.
Yeah, so we'll put that in this recommended order, which the court will adopt, just to appear back to review the status of these issues. And hopefully, obviously, you need to have paid to Ms. Mayville $1,000 by then, and you need that camper repaired. So you need to be very frugal about your income.
Okay, so April 23rd at what time?
10:30. This will be in this order. We'll mail you a copy of this order.
Okay.
Your Honor, for clarification, it is $500 per week, not per month.
I'm sorry,
Yes.
per week.
Yeah, it's per week.
Okay, thank you. It does say per week. All right, so we expect you to consistently make those payments. We'll review this fair then on April 23rd, 10:30.
Okay.
So I would say at this point in time, the priority is getting the $500 to Miss Mayville each and every week, and then then you got extra money. Then start to repair that camper.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Anything further, Miss Mayville?
No, that'll work for me.
Okay, we'll put our docket April 23rd, 10:30. You both have a copy of this, and it'll be by Zoom, so Mr. Phillips can continue to operate the motor vehicle for a living. All right, that will conclude this hearing. You can all zoom out.
Page 2, Jamie Mayville versus William Phillips.
They talk in front of the court.
I told Josh.
Okay, so we have an order then.
Josh to order. So the other party didn't appear. Can you do a rec?
Are we just adjourning it out until they can appear?
Do you mind just saying, indicating that, if you could, please, Mr. Walker, that defendant failed to appear allegedly in the hospital. Matters adjourned to June 18th at 1:30.
I can do that, Your Honor.
The defendant, Mr. Phillips himself, has filed a motion for order to show cause. That's set for June 18th at 1:30. So we'll put this review over to the same date and time. If you could, that'd be wonderful. Appreciate that. June 18th, 1:30.
I can do that, Your Honor.
Okay. Yeah.
Court is recalling middle of page 2, Jamie Mayville versus William Phillips.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. This matter is before the court for the purpose of reviewing post-judgment status of the sale of a trailer, as well as payments, financial obligations due from the defendant to the plaintiff. Is Jamie Mayville present on audio?
Yes, I am.
Good morning, Ms. Mayville. Mr. Phillips apparently was taken to the hospital this morning or last night. Apparently he's in the hospital. I hope he's okay, but in any event, some family members or friends contacted the court advising that he may not be able to appear this morning because he's in the hospital. And Mr. Phillips has, and I don't know if you've been served with it, he's filed a motion for order to show cause. He's alleging that you damaged and totaled the car, and also that you canceled credit card debts. In any event, I don't quite understand his allegations, but his motion directed to you is scheduled for hearing on June 18th at 1:30. Since he's unable to appear today, we're going to put this review over to the same date and time, June 18th at 1:30. It'll be a Zoom hearing, so note that on your calendar. You'll be mailed an order reflect that Mr. Phillips failed to appear. Thank you, Mr. Walker. That at least keeps the court file clear that it was set for hearing today. Mr. Phillips failed to appear. He's hospitalized. So the mayor is adjourned to June 18th at 1:30. But while we have you on, Ms. Mayville, has he been paying the $500 a week?
No, he has not.
He was to pay $500 a week getting March 15th, so he did not receive any payment this month. Is that correct? Or April?
Yeah, I received a $300 payment, and that was it on March 15th.
Okay, yes, of course, he was to pay $500, but you received $300 on March 15th, correct?
Yes, that's it.
All right, I'll make note of that. And do you know if he's been able to sell the trailer?
No. Matter of fact, he's about ready to get kicked out of the campground where he's at.
Okay.
It's been booted. He owes them $2,700.
Okay, all right.
He owes a lot of people.
Okay, of course, you can always hire an attorney. Maybe the attorney can, confiscate the trailer or something, especially you don't want that trailer being foreclosed upon.
I don't want that camper. He already took everything out of it.
All right. Okay.
He's ruined it.
All right, so we'll keep after him to get the balance. Ms. Mayville, again, this mayor's adjourned to June 18th, 1:30 p.m. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
You'll be mailed a notice. All right, thank you. You can zoom out.
All right, bye. Bye.
Bye. For the record, this matter is before the court on the plaintiff's ex parte motion order for temporary possession of a minor child, as well as the defendant mother's motion to modify custody. This hearing is being conducted via Zoom. President is Attorney Jason Kazmarek, representing him, the president with the plaintiff father, Derek Yost, and the defendant mother, Samantha Bryant, is also present. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Your Honor.
Parties have conferred at length with Ms. Brower from the front of the court this afternoon. The court has received the following recommendation from Ms. Brower. The recommendation is that the minor child Oliver be returned to the father today, 4:30 p.m. The exchange shall take place at the Walmart on Ellsworth in Belleville, Michigan. Phone calls shall be made through app close. If the plaintiff father is scheduled to work during the defendant's phone calls, he shall give her 12 hours notice. Mother shall call a plaintiff's mother for her phone calls to the minor child. Recommend that the defendant mother's motion to modify custody be denied at this point in time. Further, that all communication between the parties shall be via app close only. Neither party should be under the influence of drugs or alcohol while in the presence of the minor child. And the defendant mother's makeup parenting time previously awarded for Easter and spring break of 2024 be rescinded. That is the recommendation. Mr. Kazmarek, this recommendation will be with your client today.
Yes.
All right. Ms. Bryant, do you understand the recommendation?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Okay. If the court adopts the recommendation, it'll become an order of the court. Do you understand that? Yes,
Your Honor, I do.
Okay. Do you have any objection to the court adopting this recommendation?
I do, Your Honor.
Okay. Go ahead and explain why.
Well, my name is Samantha Bryant, and I'm Oliver's mother.
I'm very well aware of that.
I believe that Oliver would really strive within my household. We provide him with it's very frustrating when I'm trying to file the motion for my son with me just being his mother. I feel like that would be a starting point of why I should be able to have custody of him. I have never been found unfit inside this courtroom. I feel like Oliver would be able to strive for his own self highly here at my house. Me and him have a very close relationship. I'm not trying to dismiss Mr. Yost being a part of his life at all. I am very for a healthy co-parenting relationship between me and him. But I just feel like Oliver's best interest at the time would to be residing in my home, following within my school districts, just because Mr. Yost is kind of teeter-tottering back and forth of where he's really at. I just feel like it would be a good moment for him to rehabilitate himself, to, you know, provide that strong financial supportive environment that Oliver deserves from his father and from myself. I feel like Oliver he just thrives so well here at our home. He's very happy all the time. You can just see it on his face, the way he expresses things, how he likes to like talk and explain and input his information, which is, you know, it's very important for me to hear what he has to say. And I feel like he feels safe, like confiding in with me, because I am his mother. I would like to, you know, object to the recommended order, just because it's important for Oliver to have a very strong and stable relationship with both of his parents. And I feel like that will just help him develop into a well-rounded individual, just being able to feel comfortable at home, knowing that there's not drinking or drugs, or there's no argumentations, and that Oliver is just not going to have to wake up one day and move all of his stuff again. I would really like the court's input on this part. Mr. Yost and his attorney have been using my daughter's aunt, who would be Alyssa White, a lot in this, and I feel like that is in collusion, since she is a third party from this court as well. So I just want Oliver to, I just love him. I just want him to have the best opportunity that he can have. And I feel like that would be very strongly provided for myself.
And Miss Bryant, that's all this court wants. This court's focused on the best interest of Oliver, the minor child.
Yes.
But the law is such that the Child Custody Act wants there to be stability, continuity in the child's life. So this court is not permitted to even have a hearing about change of custody unless there's been a significant change of circumstances. Maybe you can consult an attorney. The attorney can help you put together a proper motion. And there was an order entered back in July 2023, not even a year ago, in which you're given joint legal father was given physical possession of the child. And obviously, you were dealing with some personal issues at that time. And your parenting time was alternating weekends, Friday at 6 till Sunday at 6. There needs to be you need to convince this court there's a significant change of circumstances that have since come about that warrants this court looking at custody. There's no question a child should have as much time with each parent as possible. Maybe we can talk about parenting time during the summer. You spend more time with Oliver, but obviously you can't take things in your own hands. Because you feel that Oliver's better off with you, you just can't keep him in your custody possession. You need to wait for a court order to change custody. You just can't deny father the parent the custody. The court's informed that Oliver missed a couple weeks of school, that you refused to turn back over to dad. The right thing to do is you turn over to dad, then you file your motion to change custody. Okay. Obviously, Oliver, there's a wellness check. Oliver's happy in your home. There's no question about that, but there needs to be a basis to modify and revisit custody. And of course, not convinced there's a significant change of circumstance to warrant a change of custody. Now you allege in your lengthy attachment to your motion that father was forced to leave the home in which he and Oliver were residing. Mr. Kasmerk, what was that about? Mr. Yost being kicked out of a home, having to find a new living accommodations for he and Oliver. Is that true or not true?
It's not true.
All right. Further, there's an allegation that Mr. Yost and one Timothy Poupard were involved in physical altercation in the presence of the minor child Oliver. I mean, if that occurred, Mr. Bryant, you should get a copy of the police report.
Okay.
And secure affidavits from Mr. Poupard. If in fact domestic violence is occurring in the presence of Oliver, the court can take steps such as ordering that Timothy Poupard not be present with Oliver. mean, no child needs to observe physical altercation between adults. That is wrong, contrary to the best interest of the child.
That it occurred, I would agree with you, but yeah, it's not true.
Okay, so you need to have some evidence of some of these allegations, Miss Bryant. And Oliver's missed how many weeks of school?
Almost 2.
Okay.
So I know Miss Bryant said she'd never been found unfit in the courtroom, but she has. And her other child's in a guardianship. I mean, and that happened around the same time as this case began. I mean, Miss Bryant has got some serious issues. She's living with a convicted felon who's still on probation of some serious charges. And so there's some serious concerns with Miss Bryant, and she's failing to look after Oliver's best interest, returning him to school. I guess keeping him out of school for weeks is not his best interest whatsoever. I just there's got to be some order that she shows up at her parenting time when she's supposed to exchange his child. And if not, there's going to be some consequences, because this is not the first time. Mr. Yost has to go use the place other occasions as well, where she didn't show up at the meeting spot. He had to drive all the way to Macomb, place assisted, and she returned the child. But again, there's been multiple occasions where that had happened before this time, where she just flat out refused whatsoever, even with police showing up at her door. I just want to make sure the court is aware of her. This is not the first time refusing to return the child, and it can't keep going on like that.
Right, the order of July of 2023, where the court set parenting time for mom alternate weekends, where was the exchange to take place? Was it take place on this Walmart on Ellsworth and Belleville?
That's correct.
Right. So, Miss Bryant, all exchanges will occur not only today at 4:30. You're gonna bring Oliver back to the dad to this Walmart. All future exchanges on the alternate weekends. Now, since Oliver's been with you, we need to make sure we're on the same page when we leave here, because the court's going to adopt this recommendation, Miss Bryant. Your alternating weekend, will that start then March 8th?
Yes.
Mr. Kazmarek, what's the position, Mr. Yost? We've got
that's correct, yes.
Alternate weekends, but the child growth mom the last 2 weekends.
I think on track would still be next week on the 8th.
March 8th?
Yes.
All right. So, Miss Yost, you're ordered to. I'm sorry, Miss Bryant, you're ordered to return Oliver to Mr. Yost at 4:30 today, and then the two of you meet on a week from Friday, March 8th. I believe 6 o'clock. So that Oliver can go back with you, and you got Oliver for the weekend. Then you need to meet that same location at 6 o'clock that Sunday. If in fact,
the order says 6. I think they were kind of agreeing to 5:30, but again, is there a better time for both of you that works better, Ms. Brian or Derek?
Just because I also grab my daughter on that weekend. 5 or 5:30 doesn't matter, whichever.
We're fine to switch to 5:30 because that's what they've kind of been doing, which is fine. Well, that's the kind of agreement outside of court, but the court order did say 6, but 5:30 is their kind of agreement previously.
All right, Ms. Brower's pop back in. Thank you, Ms. Brower. Maybe you can add somewhere in this recommendation that moms, the parties have agreed that the mom's parenting time will be alternating weekends. Will continue, but it'll be Fridays at 5:30 to Sundays at 5:30 rather than 6 o'clock. But still meet at the Walmart in Belleville. And mom's weekend will start then on March 8th, a week from Friday. Ms. Bryant, do you have any questions for the court?
So for me to just refile a motion, it would just be best for me to have a legal aid to help me.
I would suggest that so you can make sure there's a basis for that motion, and maybe just a matter of perhaps just modifying parenting time, where you can maybe spend more time with Oliver during the summer months. But it's we're not going to. He's not going to go back and forth week on week off during the school year. Not in this court's opinion. So there's more flexibility during the summer months. If so, maybe start there in terms of seek some expanded parenting time during the summer months. And obviously, the best schedule is one that you and Mr. Yost can communicate and work out together. But all communication would be app goes. So if you could talk about summer parenting time and maybe agree to modify that. If you can't, then talk to somebody with legal aid, file a proper motion to modify parenting time. That might be a first start to spend more time with them. No question. All the reports show that Oliver is doing well in your home. He's happy there. So he's got a good home in both places. Right, so with that modification, clarification, Mr. Kazmarek, 5:30 on the Fridays to 5:30 on Sunday. Anything further?
Thank you.
Okay, any questions, Ms. Bryant?
No, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Please comply with this order and make sure that you have Oliver to meet his dad at, and Mr. Oliver, you're gonna see him in a week from Friday.
And just for clarity, I
Back in school.
I know last time that she didn't return this child, it was because Mr. Yost was working. She asked for a 4 o'clock drop off. He sent his grandparents to pick up this child. So I just want some clarification that as long as he provides a proper ride, that she still has to comply with drop off and pick up from a designated driver, we'll say.
Okay, how often is Mr. Yost unavailable for pickups and exchanges?
Well, what had happened is Miss Bryant stated that she needed to drop off the child early on, it was Super Bowl Sunday, because she had plans for Super Bowl party, I believe is what it was. So she asked for a 4 o'clock exchange as opposed to 5:30. He said, I can't, I'm not working. He sent his grandparents to the exchange time. She showed up, grandparents were there. My client advised what car they were in. She saw them and then left with a minor child without dropping him off. So again, I just want some clarity that there's no requirement. I mean, if that happens where there's some kind of agreement to switch, that my client will be there most of the time. And the plan is to be there every time. But again, in this circumstance, grandparents were sent. Oops, we lost her.
We did lose her. She just, she's gonna see if she comes back in.
But Mr. Yost would have been available if we left it at 6 o'clock, correct?
Yes.
Okay, well, we're gonna leave it at 5:30 to 5:30.
It's fine.
And that should not create any problems.
It's fine.
And if let's
I
see,
know Miss Bryant just asked to move it up, which my client was okay with, but just said I can't be there, so he sent some other ride for the child. That's all.
Okay, we'll give Miss Bryant a few minutes to see whether she reconnects. The child is familiar with the paternal grandparents, is that correct?
Oh yes, yeah, very much so.
And there's no reason why she should not allow the paternal grandparents to take the child.
She had done an exchange for her other child with a guardian at the same time. So she pulled up, the guardian was sitting next to the grandparents' vehicle. She dropped off Zoe, the minor child, and then left with Oliver.
Miss Bryant has reappeared. You just need to mute yourself, Miss Bryant.
I apologize. My computer got unplugged.
Okay, Mr. Kazmarek stated that, I guess on Super Bowl Sunday, you wanted to exchange at 4 o'clock. Mr. Yost could not do it, but he sent his grandparents, and you would not release Oliver to his grandparents. I don't know what the issue was there. So if you have a problem releasing them to the grandparents, then you don't change the time. It's going to be 5:30, 5:30, 5:30, 5:30. It'd be nice if you'd be flexible with each other and work together. Do you have any objection to his grandparents picking up Oliver?
No, Your Honor, I don't. It was just a little concerning because Mr. Yost was stating that he was in the parking lot and that he was there. So he never informed me until he physically called me that it would be his grandparents picking him up. Also, I didn't know he worked at 4 or was still at work.
It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where he works. Again, if Oliver knows the grandparents and the child's safe with the grandparents, there's no reason why you shouldn't allow the grandparents to take them.
Understand now, Your Honor.
All right. So I'll leave that to the parties. But the court, so I suggest keep it at 5:30. Don't change the court order, location, 5:30 at the Walmart store. All right. Any other questions, Miss Bryant?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. That includes matter. You both mailed a copy of this. That includes matter. You can both zoom off, zoom out.
I will upload the modified recommendation in just a moment, Your Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Brown. And then if you can have the other two, there's 2 other in the queue. We can have Ms. Pratt or Ms. Patrick delete those or authorize, give you the authority to do so. Kyla Hall, Ms. Hall, appear to be present with Mr. Ferguson. In addition, Attorney Walter Skaczynski is present. representing the defendant Robert Hall. Mr. Hall is appearing via Polycom from the Monroe County Jail. Mr. Skatinski, you'll be filing an appearance on behalf of Mr. Hall. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor. I've already filed an answer. It's in the mail.
Okay.
And Mr. Ferguson has a copy of it.
Thank you.
I do.
For the record, the court would note that an ex parte order was entered on February 21st, 2024, ordering for a motor company to deliver defendant's profit sharing check to Attorney Ferguson to be held in escrow. We just want to make sure the asset's protected. And with that, the parties have conferred with Ms. Mayville from front of the court this afternoon. Ms. Brower. That's right. Oh, there's it is. Okay, the court has received the following recommendation from Ms. Brower. The recommendation is that the marital home be listed for sale. For the record, that marital home is located 5. The issue of reimbursement of payments made by the plaintiff in the interim regarding the marital home is reserved. And the ex parte order February 21st, 24 shall continue as defendant has no objection. Once there is a recommended list price, will you share that with Mr. Skatinski?
Pardon me?
Once your client secures a recommended list price, will you share that with Mr. Skatinski?
Absolutely.
All right, there should be some discussion, communication, make sure both sides are in agreement as to the list price. So that is noted for the record. We'll forward, if you reach out to Ford Motor Company, Mr. Ferguson, the profit sharing check is not yet been issued. It won't be issued till sometime in March. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Right,
I have sent the order to Ford Motor Company.
okay. Do you have every reason to believe that they will comply with that?
I'm sorry, Your Honor, I didn't hear that.
Do you have every reason to believe that they will comply with that?
I'm hoping they do. I know Ford Motor Company has some issues sometimes.
All right. The other option is Mr. Skatinski can certainly hold it in his escrow account. Perhaps he can get an authorization signed by his client. I mean, that's another possibility. But in any event, the court will, of course, want that profit sharing check to be held in escrow so that we can take every marital expenses. So perhaps counsel can communicate and work through that together. I'm just suggesting they might be more receptive to Mr. Hall's attorney holding that in escrow. So I would encourage the counsel to discuss that. If in fact there's any reluctance on part of Ford Motor Company to release that to you, Mr. Ferguson.
I actually agree with the court, and I would prefer that. When I had the order entered, there was not counsel on the other side, so I actually would prefer to have it done the way the court indicated.
Okay. All right, the counsel can discuss that. Mr. Skatinski, is this recommendation agreed with your client this afternoon?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Do either of you wish to voir dire your respective clients regarding this recommendation?
Your Honor, my client is in custody. His mother has power of attorney, and she's in my office and indicates that the terms that we have indicated to the court are acceptable to her son. You know, I don't know if you want me to voir dire her or not, but I can indicate to the court that we have that approval.
Okay, that's sufficient. I'll leave it to you. Obviously, the net sale proceeds will be held in escrow. Is that correct?
Correct.
You just want to satisfy the mortgage indebtedness, reduce some expenses. All right, anything further, Mr. Ferguson or Mr. Skatinski?
No, Your Honor.
I have nothing further.
All right, thank you, Ms. Brower, for your assistance. Court will adopt the recommendation.
You're welcome, Your Honor.
This hearing. All right, everyone can zoom out.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Did my microphone fall off here? I wonder if I need to move it over. Is that
there, so
okay,
it was never
right.
moved.
Maybe his volume was not up or something?
Pardon?
I thought I was yelling.
No, you sound good.
You were yelling because I couldn't hear you.
The person kept saying, if I can't hear you,
Kept
can't
saying,
hear
I
you.
can't hear you, and then you would like yell it out to them so they could hear you
Yeah.
better.
I didn't know if that was blocking it, but I even had the other problem.
Everybody else is
All right.
in
You
here.
know what? It's probably on their side. A lot of times
Okay.
it is. Not our side.
Jacob Hurley versus Teresa Wilkes.
The record this matters before the court on the plaintiff's motion for order suspending parenting time. This hearing is being conducted via Zoom. President is Attorney William Godfrey, representing the plaintiff moving party. Father Jacob Hurley. Mr. Hurley appears to be present with Mr. Godfrey. In addition, Attorney Jason Kazmarek is present, representing the defendant mother, Teresa Wilkes. Is it Wilkes?
Wilkes, yes.
In any event, Ms. Wilkes is present. The court entered an ex parte order on February 16th, 2024, which suspended defendant mother's parenting time. The parties have met with Ms. Mayville this afternoon. Ms. Mayville, I don't know, in your recommendation, are you recommend ex parte continue, be set aside?
I just realized that, sir. I will put that in that the motion be set aside.
All right. All right, so
And Judge, that's based on the Child Protective Services have, I believe, based on their phone call yesterday, have completed their investigation. They're going to close the file in the end of March, so roughly 45 days, and they haven't led me to believe we need anything more than what we have agreed to as part of this order.
all right. So Mr. Godfrey, your client agrees that the ex parte order of February 16th be set aside. Is that correct?
That is correct, Judge.
All right. So Ms. Mayville can include this in the recommendation. It's further recommended that neither parent shall use any form of corporal punishment on the minor children or permit a third party to do so. Further, there should be no smoking of marijuana or tobacco in the presence of the minor child. And neither parent shall hinder communication between the minor child and the other parent. That is the recommendation. Is that full recommendation agreeable with your client, Mr. Godfrey?
Yes, it is, Judge.
And Mr. Kazmarek, is this recommendation agreeable with your client?
It is, yes.
All right. Mother had parenting time. Of course, for notes is joint legal, joint physical. Mother had parenting time the first, second, third weekends of the month. Will this be this weekend? Of course, is the fourth weekend of the month.
It's actually the first weekend.
It'll be the first weekend, Judge. Friday is March 1st. So it would be Mother's Weekend this weekend.
Okay. All right. Just to make sure we're on the same page. All right. Yep. So the parties will, I think it's Friday at 6 to Sunday at 6. Just want to make sure we're on the same page. So this will be Mom's weekend for parenting time. All right. Mr. Godfrey, is it necessary? Do you want to voir dire Mr. Hurley this afternoon?
No, Judge. We've spent enough time with Ms. Marvel. So.
All right. Thank you. Mr. Kazmarek, do you wish to voir dire Ms. Wilkes?
No need. Thank you.
All right. I would like to thank and acknowledge Ms. Mayville for her assistance in helping facilitate resolution, as well as, of course, Attorneys Godfrey and Kazmarek. Court will adopt the recommendation. The ex parte order set aside, and we'll go back to the parenting time previously ordered. All right. And please communicate, Mr. Hurley and Ms. Wilkes. Some of these misunderstandings can be addressed if the two of you will communicate effectively regarding what's going on with your child. That perhaps could have prevented all this. All right, in any event, the court will adopt the recommendation. That will conclude this hearing. Everyone can